You ever have your entire afternoon hijacked by someone who thinks an HOA clipboard gives them divine authority? I was minding my own business, riding my jet ski on my own private lake, when Karen from Lot 27 stormed up screaming about noise violations and declining property values. One minute it was water spray and sunshine. The next it was sirens, cops, and cell phones pointed like weapons. She kept shouting that I was terrorizing the neighborhood. Here's the twist she didn't see coming. My dad is the mayor. In the exact moment those officers stepped out of their cruiser, her smug confidence melted into sweat soaking through her blouse. This isn't just a jet ski story. It's about power, ego, and the precise second Karen realized she'd picked the one fight she absolutely could not win. Buckle up. The sun sat low over the water, light bouncing off the lake like broken glass. I fired up my Yamaha FX Cruiser, that deep, smooth purr rolling under me as I leaned into my first turn. That's when I heard it, a sharp, shrill HEY slicing through the engine noise like a rusty blade. I eased off the throttle. The water settled into lazy ripples around the hull. There she was, Karen, planted on the dock in her signature red blouse, tight, low-cut, already riding up like it was fighting gravity, arms crossed, hair shellacked into place, face locked into that familiar scowl she probably practiced in the mirror every morning. "You're violating HOA Rule 7B, she barked. "No motorized watercraft after 4 p.m. I blinked. "Karen, this is my lake. I own the deed, the dock, and that patch of grass you're pacing on." She scoffed and snapped open a laminated clipboard. "Ownership doesn't exempt you from community standards. I've already called the police." My stomach sank, not from fear, but pure disbelief. This was the same woman who once called animal control because my golden retriever barked at a squirrel. Now she was summoning cops over a jet ski on private water. Right on cue, blue lights flickered through the trees at the end of the drive. Tires crunched on gravel. Karen smiled, adjusting her blouse like she was stepping onto a stage. "Let's see how your privilege holds up when real authority arrives." The cruiser door opened. Out stepped Sergeant Ramirez, the same guy who'd saluted my dad at the Memorial Day parade a month earlier. Karen hadn't just overplayed her hand. She'd pulled the pin on the wrong grenade. Ramirez froze mid-step, hand still on the door. His eyes moved from me on the jet ski to Karen on the dock, then back again. A slow blink, the kind that says, "Oh no." Karen didn't notice. She marched forward, clipboard raised like a shield. "Officer, thank goodness you're here. This man is operating a jet ski after hours. Loud, reckless, in clear violation of HOA bylaws. I demand he be cited immediately." Ramirez cleared his throat. "Ma'am, do you know whose property this is?" She waved him off. "That's irrelevant. Rules apply to everyone." "Actually," he said calmly, "this lake is deeded exclusively to the Whitmore estate." He nodded toward me. "And Mr. Whitmore's father is Mayor Richard Whitmore." Silence. Not quiet. Vacuumed. Karen's mouth hung open. Her cheeks flushed pink, then red. Pressure building like a boiling kettle. She looked at me again. Really looked. No longer seeing a nuisance, but a problem with roots. I shut off the jet ski. The sudden quiet made her flinch. "Karen," I said evenly, "you called the police on me for riding my own jet ski on my own water because your HOA rulebook told you to." She opened her mouth to argue, to spin it, to double down, but Ramirez cut in. "There's no violation here. Private property. Private water. No noise ordinance applies." Her eyes bounced between us. "But the noise. My son has asthma. The vibrations knock his inhaler off the nightstand." I almost laughed. Her asthmatic son was 16, played varsity football, and bragged last summer about doing dirt bike wheelies behind her house. But I didn't say it. I just smiled. "Next time, Karen, maybe knock before you call in the cavalry." Ramirez gave me a small nod, half respect, half apology, and walked back to his cruiser. Karen stood frozen, clipboard sagging, her red blouse suddenly looking less like armor and more like a bullseye. As I restarted the jet ski, she whispered, "This isn't over." Her voice cracked, and I knew she was right. 3 days later, I walked into the monthly HOA meeting wearing a crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled up, calm settled deep in my chest. The community room smelled like burnt coffee and passive aggression. Karen sat at the head of the U-shaped table, flanked by her two favorite yes women, binders stacked like legal barricades. Her hair was even stiffer. The red blouse was back, tighter, lower, reforged for battle. She didn't look at me, but her knuckles whitened around her pen. Gary, the timid HOA president, cleared his throat. Before we begin, Karen has requested an emergency motion regarding repeated disturbances on Whitmore Lane. Karen stood. For weeks, certain residents have prioritized personal indulgence over community peace, she said, locking eyes with me. Jet skis, late-night music, loud vehicles. She'd seen my Lamborghini once. Just once. Filed a visual nuisance complaint. I leaned back. Karen, I played acoustic guitar on my porch at 7 p.m. She ignored me. I moved that we pass a new bylaw. All watercraft, regardless of ownership, must be stored off property, and any motor vehicle over 300 horsepower must be garaged at all times. Chairs shifted. Someone snorted. Then a voice from the back. Isn't the lake legally part of the Whitmore parcel? Deed from 1952. Mrs. Langston, 82, sharp as glass. The neighborhood historian. Karen's smile tightened. Deeds can be reinterpreted. I stood, not dramatically, just deliberately. I appreciate your passion, Karen, but you're not rewriting rules. You're targeting me. She lifted her chin. This isn't personal. Oh, it is, I said quietly, because last night my wife, 7 months pregnant, found a note slipped under our door. It said, "People like you don't belong here." The room went dead silent. Karen paled. I didn't. The door slammed open. My father stepped inside. Mayor Richard Whitmore. Whitmore. The tension snapped tight, eyes locking on him, and behind my father stood 2 city council members and a reporter from the Daily Clarion, camera already rolling. Karen's mouth opened, but nothing came out. My dad didn't speak right away. He stood in the doorway, sunlight cutting across him like he'd stepped out of a courtroom drama. The reporter, Lena from the Clarion, lowered her camera just enough to make eye contact. She knew exactly what this was. Karen finally forced a smile. Mayor Whitmore. What a surprise. Not really, my father said, stepping forward. His voice was calm, measured, but it carried slow thunder before a storm. My son told me about the jet ski incident, and the note my pregnant daughter-in-law received last night. He paused. Anonymous threats don't just violate HOA bylaws, Karen. They're criminal. She sputtered. I had nothing to do with that. Maybe, Dad said, pulling a folded sheet of paper from his coat. But your fingerprints were on the note. Silence exploded. Karen's face drained of color. That's impossible. I never... The lab matched partials from the corner you held while writing, he continued, voice ice-steady. Same ink as your HOA complaint log. Same paper stock as the printer registered to your home. Mrs. Langston leaned forward. Lord help us, child. You really crossed a line this time. Karen's hands began to shake. She scanned the room, searching for support, but even her loyal yes women had pulled back, eyes fixed on their laps. My father turned to the room. The city is reviewing whether this HOA has exceeded its legal authority, especially when enforcement targets specific residents based on personal animus. Karen shot to her feet. You're abusing your power to bully me. No, I said quietly. We're using the law to stop you from bullying everyone else. The reporter scribbled furiously. Someone cleared their throat. The AC unit rattled like it could feel the tension. Then Karen did the unexpected. She ripped her HOA lanyard from her neck, slammed it onto the table, and hissed, Fine! But don't think this is over. You think you've won? You have no idea what I'm capable of. She stormed out, heels cracking against tile like gunfire. As she passed me, she leaned in, her voice a poison whisper meant only for me. You'll regret making me look small. And that's when it hit me. This had never been about jet skis or noise complaints. It was about humiliation. And Karen didn't just want payback. She wanted blood. 2 nights later, rain slammed sideways in cold, relentless sheets. I just dropped my wife at her prenatal appointment and was pulling into our gated drive when the sensor failed. No click, no whir. The wrought iron gate stayed locked. I tried the remote. Nothing. The intercom hissed with dead air. I stepped out, rain soaking my shirt instantly, and punched in the keypad code. Beep, 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 error. That's when I saw it. Taped to the gate post was a photocopied HOA violation notice. My name, my address, a red stamp across the top. Final warning. Access suspended. Pending compliance. Signed, Karen Henderson, acting HOA chair, interim. My blood went cold. She had no legal authority to do this. The gate sat on my property line, controlled by my private security system. I called the security company. After a pause, a technician said, "Sir, someone remotely overrode your system using an admin code registered to Karen Henderson." "How?" "She submitted paperwork claiming you voluntarily delegated access during HOA dispute resolution. It was processed under emergency protocol." I stared past the gate at my house, dark and distant. My pregnant wife will be done in 20 minutes, alone in this storm. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Feel free to walk or knock. But remember, trespassing fines apply after hours. "Okay." I exhaled slowly, rain dripping from my chin, fists clenched. This wasn't petty anymore. She locked me out of my own home at night with my wife vulnerable. I called my dad. "She hacked my gate," I said quietly, "and I think she's watching." Near the tree line, a shadow shifted. Not an animal. A person. Even in the downpour, the red blouse was unmistakable. She stood there, smiling. I didn't confront her. Instead, I backed onto the street, picked up my wife, and took her straight to a downtown boutique hotel with private access and 24-hour security. She didn't question it. She just squeezed my hand. "She's lost it, hasn't she?" "She's escalating," I said. The next morning, I hired a private security firm specializing in residential counter-surveillance. By noon, a wiry tech named Diaz was climbing the old oak at the edge of my property. "What did you find?" I asked when he came down. He held up a tiny black device. Wireless camera. High-res. Night vision. Live feed. It's been recording your driveway, patio, and master bedroom window for at least a week. My stomach twisted. "My wife sleeps there." "It's worse," he said. "Auto-uploading every 15 minutes to a cloud server. They trace the account. Fake name, but paid with a credit card ending in 5821. Karen's card. I recognized it from a charity gala photo she'd posted online. Supporting community safety. I went straight to internal affairs. Unauthorized surveillance. Invasion of privacy. Potential stalking. But Karen was ready. She met officers in her driveway, eyes wide, voice trembling. "A camera on my neighbor's property? Officer, I think I'm being framed." Then she dropped the bomb. "I've been getting threats too. Notes. Hang-up calls. Someone even slashed my tires." She gestured to her SUV. Tires pristine. The detective looked at me. "Do you have proof the device belongs to her?" "We're tracing payment records," I said. Karen smiled softly. "Good luck." My card was stolen last month. I reported it. The lie slid out effortlessly. As officers turned to leave, Diaz tugged my sleeve. "Boss, that camera? It's still live." High in the branches, a tiny red light blinked. Karen wanted us to find it, because the real feed wasn't going to cloud. We worked all night. By 4 a.m., Diaz cracked the firmware. Footage was being rerouted, not public, not cloud-based, but to a private local IP bouncing through a portable hotspot. Karen's hotspot. She wasn't just recording. She was broadcasting to a private, invite-only live stream. Router logs recovered fragments. Watch him sweat. Wait till you see what he does at 3 a.m. She'd turned my life into a private reality show. Then I pull an archive clip. Timestamp. 2 a.m., 2 nights earlier. My wife, half asleep, walking toward the... Here is the rewritten version, keeping the same length, same events, same pacing, but with smoother flow, heightened tension, and cleaner narrative continuity. Nothing is shortened. Bathroom door closing. My wife in her robe, half asleep. Then another clip, me in my study, opening the safe. My hands started shaking. This wasn't harassment anymore. It was psychological warfare. I took everything to the police. This time, they listened. A warrant was approved by 10 a.m. When they raided Karen's house, her laptop was wiped clean. Phone factory reset. Hotspot disabled. She answered the door in a silk robe, chamomile tea steaming in her hand like she'd rehearsed a moment. "Officers, I've been expecting you," she said calmly. "My attorney warned me someone might try to plant evidence after I reported recent break-in attempts." The detective glanced at me, frustration written across his face. Without the live feed or a direct confession, we're looking at circumstantial evidence at best. That night, I sat alone on my back porch. The jet ski rocked gently in the water. The rain had stopped. Moonlight painted the lake silver. My phone buzzed. Blocked number. A video message. I tapped play. Grainy footage. Shot from above. Me, sitting right there. My own voice captured clearly. She's winning. And I don't know how to stop her. Then Karen's voice drifted in, soft, satisfied, just off-screen. "You already lost." I looked up into the trees. For the first time, I wondered if she was watching me right now. I stopped sleeping. Checked curtains compulsively. Unplugged smart devices. My wife barely spoke anymore. She just held her belly, like she was shielding our child from the quiet. Enough was enough. I filed for a restraining order, not just against Karen, but against the entire HOA board, citing coordinated harassment. The hearing was set for Friday morning, County Court, Room 3. I walked in expecting delays, a junior judge, procedural indifference. Instead, Judge Eleanor Whitfield sat on the bench, tall, sharp-eyed, silver hair coiled tight, black robes pressed like armor. When she saw Karen's name on the docket, her lips thinned into something cold and familiar. "Miss Henderson," she said before Karen even Saturday, "we meet again." Karen froze. "Your Honor, you know me," Karen said weakly. "I do," Judge Whitfield replied dryly. "I presided over your 2019 civil suit against the dog park. You claimed a poodle's bark caused chronic migraines. Case dismissed with prejudice." The courtroom shifted. Even the bailiff smirked. "That was different," Karen snapped. "Indeed," the judge said. "Now you're accused of illegal surveillance, impersonation, and infliction of emotional distress against a pregnant woman." She turned to me. "Mr. Whitmore, present your evidence." I laid it all out, the camera, hotspot logs, fake credit card report, live stream fragments, gate override. Karen's attorney stumbled through objections. Hearsay, speculation, no direct proof. Judge Whitfield cut him off. "Your client has a documented pattern of weaponizing bureaucracy to pursue personal vendettas, and now she's crossed into criminal conduct." The gavel came down. Restraining order granted. Full exclusion. 500 feet from Mr. Whitmore, his residence, his wife, and all associated property, including the private lake. Violation will result in immediate arrest. Karen leapt to her feet. "This is unfair." Judge Whitfield leaned forward. "Unfair? You spied on a woman carrying a child. You terrorized a family on their own land." Her voice dropped lethal. "Do not test me, Miss Henderson. I remember everything." As Karen was escorted out, she locked eyes with me and mouthed 2 words. "You'll pay." This time, I didn't flinch. The law was finally on my side. Or so I thought. 2 days later, I went back to the lake. I wanted normalcy. One slow lap on a jet ski. Wind on my face. Reclaiming what was mine. But when I reached the dock, the Yamaha was gone. Not vandalized. Not damaged. Gone. Tie down sliced clean. Lift empty. Only a faint oil sheen shimmering on the water. I called the marina. Police. My dad. Nothing. No reports. No sightings. Then my phone dinged. Anonymous email. "Borrowed your toy. Don't worry, it's safe." For now, attached photo. My jet ski parked in front of Karen's garage. Her red blouse blazing in the frame. Arms crossed, smiling like she'd hit the jackpot. But how? The restraining order was active. Then I checked marina security footage. There she was, 2 a.m., hoodie on, unmistakable. She never entered my gate. She walked the wooded perimeter, slipped through a gap in the old stone wall on the east shore, and rolled the jet ski onto a trailer. Technically, she never set foot on my land. She found the loophole. Police said without proof she drove it, it was civil. That night, sitting on the dock, I heard it. The rumble. Headlights slicing the dark. My jet ski tearing across the lake toward her cove. She wasn't hiding it anymore. She was taunting me. I called Ramirez. She's on the lake. Right now. He sighed. Unless she's on your dock or shore, it's murky, navigable water. She carved a wide loop, spray arcing like a middle finger under the moon. What she didn't know, I'd installed a GPS tracker under the seat months ago. The signal led to a storage facility 10 miles west. Unit 47. Chain link fence. Pawn shop on one side. Abandoned laundromat on the other. Karen's SUV sat out front. Engine warm. I didn't confront her. Instead, I called in a favor. Officer Chin, off duty, ex-military, discreet. By dawn, he had drone footage. Karen lifting the garage door, dragging my jet ski inside. Behind it, 3 more watercraft, a stolen wave runner, 2 base boats reported missing in neighboring counties, all tagged with tiny HOA-style barcode stickers. She wasn't stealing for spite. She was running a chop operation. This is organized theft, Chin said. By noon, the DA signed the warrant. At 3 p.m., SWAT hit Unit 47. Karen screamed when they kicked the door in. This is private property. She froze when she saw me behind them. They found fake HOA seizure notices, surveillance logs, a ledger, cash payments, buyers. As they cuffed her, she snarled, "You think this ends with me?" The board been taking cuts for years. The detective looked at me. She's not wrong. We'll need your testimony. As they led her away, she twisted in cuffs. Your wife's due in 6 weeks. Hope you hired good security. The trial lasted 3 weeks. The HOA collapsed. 2 arrests. 1 board member fled. Karen watched me every day. Not with shame, with calculation. Verdict. Guilty on all counts. 5 years minimum. No parole. But the night before sentencing, my wife went into preterm labor. Stress-induced. Our daughter was born at 34 weeks. Small, fierce, alive. In the NICU, my phone buzzed. 1 final message from Karen. Enjoy her while you can. The lake remembers. I deleted it. Then I told the world. Press conference. Evidence. Audio. Ledger. Threats. The headline broke everything open. State investigations. New laws. I donated the lake easement permanently. No HOA ever again. Now I paddle a canoe with my daughter. No engines. No sirens. Just water and peace. Karen's still in prison. And I finally breathe.